Hello and namaste, my beautiful friends. I am Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of May the 12th, 2025. Well, as my husband and I like to say, buckle up, buttercup. This is a week. It is packed with astrological magic, but also some chaos and confusion. I would say this is a week that is really vital and important and sets up a volatile several weeks. Now, to set the scene, we still have some lovely connection between Uranus and Saturn and the nodes. So truly moments of fate, moments where we see that our life is changing in sometimes dramatic ways forever. So be attuned and stay grounded throughout the week. I'm also, again, really appreciating the fact that Venus is moving away from Neptune, but another thing that's really magical this week is she gets out of her shadow zone. So we're paying attention to that. This week also features a full moon in Scorpio. This week has Mars clashing with Mercury, so a little bit of an argumentative vibe. And then the most shocking days are coming up through the weekend as we have a meeting between Uranus and the Sun, co-present with the Demon Star Algol. So let's hop into this week. Now we start with this full moon at 12:56 p.m. at 22 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. Now remember, when it gets full, illuminated at 22 degrees, after it moves out of 22, it's going to continue to move forward. And that means that moon is going to end up in an opposition with Uranus across the sky in the sign of Taurus. So even though this is a full moon in Scorpio, it is Uranian. It is about breakthroughs. It is about up-leveling things, taking the energy and shifting it so that it is ready for the future. This is a full moon that I kind of consider to be a purging full moon. This is a very good full moon for cutting cords, for burning, writing letters to people that you need to let go of, having the conversation that you always wanted to have, but they're not able to do it. They're not at that level. They're not here anymore. You're not in contact with them. It doesn't mean you can't ritually let them go. Write them a letter, put it into the fire. This is a burning moon for sure. This moon also features Mercury squaring Pluto. So Mercury in a clash with Pluto, well, this is power struggles. And Mercury's in Taurus. Mercury's in the sign that just wants to, sit in the sun and eat something not yummy and smell the flowers, right? And there's Pluto beginning to move backwards, kind of coming back and saying, hey, haven't gone anywhere. This new Aquarian vibe, this is where we're at. So this could be a little bit argumentative. This could also bring issues with Taurus-ruled things like money, like resources. So, and especially Mercury is the sign of transportation. So this could also bring issues relative to that. Then the next day on the 13th, Saturn gets to 29 degrees Pisces, the very last degree of the very last sign of the zodiac. So this is an energy that wants to come to completion, that wants you to get the message, and is going to push on forward and move into Aries on the 24th. But this very final degree is very critical. And so we're going to observe where we must create something that has more integrity, where we're really being tested to work a little harder, to be a little bit more diligent, to be a little bit more mature. And we'll start seeing this on the 13th. This is also when that Scorpio moon will send lovely energy to Saturn. So I am liking that. And this is also when it will connect beautifully with a lot of the outer planets as well. So even though this is kind of an intense time period emotionally, there's a lot of intuitive magic for you this early part of the week. So make sure you're plugged in, you're meditating, you're making those cosmic connections. Now on the 14th, Jupiter begins to move in Gemini into a square with the nodes. And this is going to kind of roll out throughout almost the whole rest of the month. It's going to wrap up. It's going to take about 2 weeks. But Jupiter clashing with the nodes is going to it's in some ways offer a blessing because Jupiter always sends a little bit of stardust wherever he goes. But it's going to ask us to not get overwhelmed with the quantity of information, not be too childish and, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine, oh, we'll just make this little minor adaptation and everything will be fine. No, no, no. No, no, no. Virgo wants it to be put together. Pisces wants you to see the larger implications, the cosmic, long-term, lifetime after lifetime implications of your choices here. So there's some amount of seriousness that needs to be applied to the Gemini area of your life, wherever that is in your chart. So just begin to feel into that this week because it's going to be building and be much stronger next week. On the 16th, we have Venus getting out of the shadow zone at 10 degrees of Aries. So Taurans and Librans, celebrate, but we don't have too much time to just enjoy this because the sun will be getting ever closer to Uranus. Now, Sun-Uranus brings shocking events. This could be weather related. This could be financial. This could be with food supplies, material resources. This could be even, just if you think about where Taurus is in your life, what that area is and how that affects you. For example, if you are a Taurus sun and you have a late degree Taurus sun, this could be something shocking that happens to you. Maybe you need to be a little bit more careful of accidents, be more careful about electricity, certainly be more careful out in electrical storms. And I would say that probably for everybody. When Uranus gets close to the sun, this can bring more shocking events of that nature. It can also feel like your nervous system is getting a jolt as well. You may feel that if you're a Taurus sun. You may feel that if you're a Scorpio sun because it's across the sky from you. You may even feel that if you're a Leo sun because the sun is your star. This is definitely a time to slow down and not overreact to things. Don't be overreactive. Don't make sudden changes. The changes are going to happen and then you have to react in a wise, measured, slower Taurus way if that's possible. Now, Mercury in Taurus is also going to begin to square to Mars and Leo around this same time. So this gives us a little bit of an argumentative edge, a little bit of someone wanting to step into a leadership role and tell you what to do. And remember that Taurus is so stubborn and Leo is so dramatic. And so if your mind is feeling very stubborn and you're dealing with somebody who's being dramatic, this could bring some volatility. This is kind of the energy that we're going to be steeped in over the entire weekend with the Sun-Uranus. So there's multiple tensions building, so we have to stay somewhat nimble. I love for this week Venus getting out of shadow. I'm really hopeful for that. I feel like that's just a lovely boost. I'm also really still loving Uranus connecting nicely with the nodes. But for the shadow, the full moon is a little tense. I gotta say, it hits my chart absolutely directly within 1 degree of my Neptune. So, and I'm sure that's true for many people. Neptune moves very slowly. So my generation, so to speak, is going to be feeling that full moon. I've also got my eye on Saturn going to 29. That's a little stressy. And then not just Mercury, Pluto, but also Mercury, Mars. Mercury is going to have a little bit of a week this week. And so Gemini and Virgo folks, really slow down. Your planet's going to be getting, I feel like it's engaging in a lot of battles or arguments. So try to not to just be overly reactive. Try not to feel... try not to take everything as a criticism. That's one thing that I think both Geminis and Virgos with the Mercury rulership can feel like words can cause so much pain, or other people's opinions can cause so much pain or discomfort with them mentally, right? Because they live in a world sometimes of their own creation. And so when somebody is in conflict with that, they kind of wrecks the little scene that they have set up in their head. So try to clear the clouds of the mind through meditation, through music, through chanting, through steadiness. And make sure you're processing what you're feeling, but don't overreact to what's going on with other people. A week like this, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And people feel this and they get afraid. And when they're afraid, they make poor choices. They get angry. They say things they shouldn't say. They say things they maybe don't even mean. They do things out of fear that aren't wise and have long-term repercussions without thinking through what really is going to happen from what they're deciding to do. So, and of course, I think there's just going to be just general disruptions this week. Disruptions in travel, disruptions in transit, disruptions with, financially. It's interesting. I'm living in Portugal now, and we just had this whole power outage in the Iberian Peninsula, which I'm not sure anyone's ever really come out with a clear, this is exactly what happened. They said there was a surge. Now, that could be happening because there are an enormous number of solar flares happening. And that's both astronomy and astrology, right? Solar flares, things happening with the sun impact both astronomy and astrology. But this week, I feel like there's going to be even more of that type of thing. And so it's a time to stay steady and not overreact. We were actually not here when that happened, but when we got back and we're talking to the neighbors about it, they're all like, shrug, power was out for 12 hours, whatever. Life went on here. Life went on. People didn't freak out. People didn't take advantage of other people. They enjoyed having some downtime. They enjoyed not being glued to their computers and phones. And so think about the opportunity presented through that shocking and unexpected event. Think about how maybe you could apply that mindset to this week for sure. Now, please stay tuned for the Celtic Cross. I did the Celtic Cross on the full moon and what to do with that. It looks like a really beneficial full moon in many ways. Again, I got my caution flag up with it, but the cards seem to really think that there's a lot of powerful, positive things coming out of this moon. I also did an Isis Lotus Tarot spread on this week, and that is posted separately, so check that out if you missed that from the video. And finally, if you hung in there this long, I appreciate you. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for your kind thoughts and words. Please share this with a friend. Please sign up for my newsletter. And I hope that you stay steady and strong throughout this week. Hello, my friends. Namaste. Welcome to your Celtic Cross for the week of May the 12th. Boy, there were a lot of things here that I wanted to run cards on, but I am going to run them on what we need to do to take advantage of Venus coming out of the shadow zone. So I feel like this is so critical. I feel like I just literally get this image of a bunch of like things building up from behind the scenes and breaking through in a torrent in some way. It's like, I don't know. It's like it's everything like coming over a wall or something. It's very interesting imagery I'm receiving. So let's take a look at the Celtic Cross for the collective, how to prepare, manage, and move forward from that Venus retrograde cycle for the collective. All right, so the first card is you, my dear, and it's the Nine of Pentacles. So she has money, she has power, she makes decisions and choices based on what she wants. She doesn't check in with the committee. She feels like she can confidently move forward to create the life that she wants. So, very powerful card here. Crossing her, the Magician, which also reminds you, you really do have everything you need here. So this Venus direct situation, clearly very empowering. In the past, Judgment, you made some hard decisions over this time period. You know, it's been a tough, 4 months, 5 months. It's 40 days and 40 nights is a Venus retrograde cycle. And that doesn't include the shadow, right? So it's been rough through Pisces and Aries. Yeah. But you've made some really, really important, critical decisions. And the future means death. Something's got to end. That thing that you were considering, pondering, that relationship, that job, that financial situation, the aesthetic, the, whatever it is, the Venusian that you've been considering, something's got to go. Crowning thoughts, what you thinking? Got 2 cards here. 7 of Pentacles. Again, getting a lot of cards that are the same as the Isis Lotus Tarot spread for both weeks. So you should really pay attention to that video from the week of the 5th, and this week of the 12th. So long-term things are shifting. Also, Queen of Swords. You've got to approach it pretty rationally. Subconscious, here we are again, the 5 of Swords. Sometimes we get so focused on one particular outcome. And then we finally get there and we realize that we missed everything. We lost the plot. We caused more problems than we solved. So open up that mind. This could be part of the message of even just the Scorpio full moon, because Scorpio sees the whole picture. Scorpio is the visionary. So watch that narrow focus. The advice card is the 9 of Wands, which says, don't give up at the last minute. Don't lose hope. Don't lose heart. Continue. Steady effort, steady work. Outside influence, 8 of Wands. There is something that's going to happen this week. And, it could be a little delayed from that Uranian energy of the previous week. It could be the Sun Uranus that's happening. But you're going to have to stay nimble. Now, what do you want to happen from that Venus retrograde? 10 of Pentacles. You want it all. You want wealth, spiritual wealth, emotional wealth, love, abundance, money, everything. Yeah, why not? And the outcome, 6 of Swords. You will get to a better place. Have confidence. Now, the reader's span, 10 of Swords. There's definitely something that's both of these weeks. I'm doing 2 weeks in a row, and I'm getting this card in the reader's span. It's just telling me there's going to be parts of all of this that even though there are positive things, there are going to be things that you have to leave behind that you're kind of like, man, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. It's okay. You're being freed. Ace of Swords. There are logical, mental, strong new beginnings that are coming. And Ace of Pentacles, financial new beginnings as well. Oh my gosh, we got all 3 aces in a row. That's insane. And emotional new beginnings. Wow, what a week. This is insane. Okay, well, super powerful week. I wish you the absolute best. If you found this helpful, please comment below. And I'll see you next week. Bye.